Hi, hello, my hair is too short, my eyeliner may be too glam, and I'm losing my mind. So I would say perfect end to the week. How is university going? Well, do you see my hair? Do you see it? So I feel like I'm really exaggerating. It's okay. But I'm not here to talk about the institution of education. No, my friends. I am here to talk about my favorite book of 2021, possibly of all time. And you're probably wondering, Divya, there is still 2 months left of 2021. I mean, I cannot. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So what book am I talking about? Well, I do not have a physical copy, so probably my thumbnail is going to be me holding up a random book and putting the cover of this book, because I have not yet procured a physical copy, and that is, my friends, The Beautiful Ones by Moreno-Garcia. So in the description below, I'm going to be linking 3 other reviews, Lou, Rachel's, and Nina's one, because I feel like this book, they really encapsulate what this book is about, and I'm probably going to be not. This woman did not learn how to articulate thoughts and struggled with that. So let's not trauma dump and let's get on with the review. So hello, we are going to be talking about The Beautiful Ones by Moreno-Garcia. And so, what is this book about? Well, this book is about our 3 main characters, Nina, Hector, and Valerie. So the gist of the story is that we follow Nina, who is a countryside girl who moves to Roselle to live with her cousin and his wife, Valerie. Now, Valerie is tasked to make Nina into the perfect lady for her sort of like debutante debut into the city of Roselle, into the upper class, the beautiful ones, you may say. Gotcha. And I did not come up with that. That's in the story. So Lou basically says that this book, it reads like a telenovela, and I have to agree. It reads like a drama. It reads like a Bollywood drama. Like, it just does. Like, the drama, the feelings, the cunningness, the plot. It just reads like a Bollywood drama. And so let me get into my review of it, which I loved it. Favorite book, so good. I read it in 2 sittings. I literally could not stop thinking about the book in between those 2 sittings, so I just had to I had to finish it. Like, even though I'm going to the plot is predictable because it reads like a telenovela, it reads like a drama, and so you kind of basically know what happens in the end, but it's so compelling, it's so good, it's such a good story, it's so well written, it's lyrical, and I just loved it so much. I just loved it. I am going to recommend this book for years to come. So let's get into the review, and I'll talk about everything under the sun. So first we'll talk about the characters. Now, Nina, I related heavily to Nina. Nina was me. Nina is me. And Nina is basically this girl who is naive because she's not had the basically she's not been in the world, like the real world. So she has like very naive notions. She's very carefree. She's just living her best life of being like young and carefree, and she is very passionate about her interests, which are bugs, and she's very passionate about that. She also has hints of like telekinesis, energy, sort of like that, and I just loved her. I just love Nina. She's so sweet, she's so wholesome. People think that badass women only are women who kick ass, but badass women are also wholesome women that are so sweet and kind to everybody. And I just loved Nina. I loved the character so much. And even when something happened in the story, I cannot say because spoilers, where this particular thing shatters her like shatters her world, she doesn't become cynical. She becomes mature. She's able to see the view of the world from another perspective, but she doesn't become cynical. She still remains sweet and nice and caring. So she doesn't let this event affect her too terribly to the point where she becomes like, you know, maybe like Valerie. So the next character is Hector. Now Hector is a telekinetic, and I like Hector's character. A lot of people do not like his character in the beginning, and then, you know, slowly fall in love with Hector's character. But I gave him a benefit of the doubt from the beginning. I'm like, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. And I really enjoyed Hector's character, because what Hector characterization and like internal turmoil is that, you know, he used to be in this romance with Valerie, and now 10 years later he's still thinking about Valerie. He's still very much in love with her, you know, and stuff like that. And he tries, and the story goes like he's trying to, you know, process these feelings. And I think with it can be related with real life, because Hector is in love with a memory of Valerie, not Valerie herself, you know what I mean? So that can relate to real life, because in real life we do, like, people who were in our life and aren't anymore, we don't think about the bad moments we had with them. We don't think about why they left. We think about the good moments. We think about, oh, I had this much fun with this person. I loved hanging out with this person. This person was so good to me. In that sense, we only think about the good memories, but we never think about, oh, what about this? You know, this person did this. You know, this person wasn't, you know, wasn't this, and stuff like that. So we're always in love with the memory of a person, but we never think about, you know, what the person actually did and stuff like that, why they're not in your life anymore. So I think that relates heavily to this story, because we all have that personal journey of, like, we all love the memory of a person, but we have to be able to think about more critically about, like, oh, this person is not in my life anymore for a reason. And so yeah, I feel like Hector's story really relates to the real world, and you feel like a comfort reading Hector's story, because you're like, I relate to this. So now we go into the main star of the beautiful ones, of Valerie. Valerie is a typical drama villainess. I also gave Valerie the benefit of the doubt, because a lot of people hate Valerie, and I was like, why could you do that will make me hate you? So I'm just like, I was reading the story, I'm like, I don't hate you. Like, you're unhinged, and I maybe dislike you a bit, but I don't see why I should hate you at the moment. And then I came to the last quarter of the book, and I was like, oh shit, now I know why. But you just love to hate Valerie. Like, Valerie is so easy to hate, but she also gives you, like, you're conflicted, because, like, I was conflicted, because I was like, I hate Valerie, like, I like to hate Valerie, but I also understand her motives. But this woman is unhinged as anything, because with Valerie's characterization, you know, Valerie was the, like, jewel of the family, kind of like that, and she had to go with her family's expectation of bringing them out of debt by having an arranged marriage. And also she goes with societal's expectation of what a woman, a lady, should be like. So she's like this very, like, very, like, seductive persona type of thing. And so she harbors these ill intentions towards Nina, because, like, Nina gets to do whatever the fuck Nina wants to do. Like, Nina is carefree, is young, is not going with societal's view of what a woman should be like. And Valerie is like, why should she get to have this carefreeness when I didn't have the privilege? So I do understand Valerie's, like, hatred of Nina, but also at the same time, there is a difference between Valerie and Nina, where Valerie is like stone cold hard, and like she's like, I want people to go through what I went through, and that is what she wants Nina to have, like arranged marriage, like what she had to go through. She doesn't want Nina to marry up for love. And so I feel like I'm not conveying my thoughts properly, but basically Valerie doesn't want Nina to have what she couldn't have. And so she's very cunning. She's so cunning. She's so cunning and she's so unhinged. These two things mixed together in a character makes such a good fun time. I'm like, Valerie, I hate you, but damn if you're not fun to read about. So yeah, I just loved it. So we can also relate Valerie's character to the real world, because you know, we have two types of people. We have people who have gone through a difficult time and want other people to go through the same difficult time as them. And we have people who have gone through a difficult time, have gone through trauma, but instead of wanting people to go through what they went through, they want to make sure that people are not subjected to the same things that they are. So we can see that kind of parallel to the real world as well, because Valerie is the type of person who is like, oh, I went through a difficult time, so I'm gonna make sure everybody suffers for it. I'm gonna make sure everybody will go through the same thing as me. So yeah, and now it's just going to be a stream of consciousness review. So strap in, get a hot beverage, just chill with me. So I thought, so this story has love triangle aspects to it, and I really enjoyed how the love triangle was handled. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was handled really well, because I'm the type of person who, like, if there's a love triangle, I just want it to end up in a polyamorous relationship. But that, you know, doesn't happen here, because you know, it's the drama of the thing. So you know, only two people get a happy ending. And so yeah, like, I'm not spoiling anything because the story goes as how you think the story would go, but it's so good to read. It's so comforting. It's like, if I could visualize it, it's like a cold rainy day and you sit by the fireplace with a hot beverage of hot chocolate, and that is the that is the vibes that The Beautiful Ones gave me personally. I just loved it. It was very comforting to read. I just flew through it. So it's one of those books that are very lyrical, but they're not too lyrical. Like, The Beautiful Ones is so beautifully written. It's so wonderful. It's lyrical. The descriptions of the dresses and the clothing was so beautiful. Like, I could really imagine it, but it's not too lyrical to the sense that you're like, what the hell is going on? I think that anybody can read this book because it's not too heavy on like the symbolism and stuff like that. It's very cutthroat, like straightforward to read. And the thing I like about this story is that and as somebody who, you know, struggles sometimes with reading really very complicated stories, I enjoyed this thoroughly because it wasn't complicated in that sense. So one disclaimer I want to put out is that if you are a fantasy lover, do not go into this book expecting a lot of fantasy, because this is more like a romance story with fantasy elements to it. So it's mostly a romance novel, like it's like a period piece, like one of those period TV shows. Like, it sort of reads like that, but just a little added of telekinesis to it. So I know a lot of people were complaining because this was marketed as like a fantasy type of book, but when they read it, it wasn't so heavy on the fantasy. So I just do want to give that disclaimer, so you don't go into this book thinking one thing and then getting disappointed, because it's not. Because if you go into this book expecting romance, like reading this book like a beautiful period romance book, then you're not going to be disappointed. It's so stunning. I just loved it. I just adore it. It's one of those books that I'm going to reread it over and over again. And this is why I understand why my friend Sal has read this book 5 times so far. And I'm going to be also rereading this book forever. And the Audiobook. Okay, the audiobook was stunning. The audiobook was so good. I read the Kindle version and the audiobook at the same time, and it was so good, and it was just so magical. It was just so good. I'm not conveying my thoughts very well, but I just love this book. It was so good. It was so beautiful. I was invested in all of the main characters. Like, normally sometimes when you read book, you're invested in one or two characters and the rest are all just like meh. But in this story, I was invested in all their characterizations, all their thoughts, all their thinking processes. I was just very much into it, and the drama and the descriptions. It's a very magical book that I really enjoyed, and I just, I don't think I've had like a feeling so I felt so light reading it. And it came to me at a time where I'm in university now, so I was very stressed out that period of time. I was just very like down and stressed, and this book really made me feel so much better. Like, it was like a comforting friend. It gave me something to be invested in. It gave me something to hyper fixate on. And I just loved that book so much. And it's a very fast read, so don't worry about it being slow. It's not fast paced, it's medium paced, but it's a fast read. Like, you can speed through it in a day, I bet you, because it's so like it's very fast read. It's so interesting. I just love it. I love this book so much. It's like a comfort hug to me. And so yes, that is my review. I don't think I have anything else to say, but I didn't prepare a script, and there's a bird chirping outside the window, so that's there too. Global South, man, we have all the animals. And so I think that's all for this review. I would highly, like, there are books that I read that I really love that I do not recommend because of reasons, like The Poppy War. I read that book, I really liked it, but I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. The Beautiful Ones is a book that I loved and I would recommend to everyone. Like, I just love this book so dang much, and I'm going to get myself a physical copy so I can annotate. And also, let me read to you some quotes. I'll be right back, but I want to read some quotes that I got from the book. One of this is a quote that Sal also really liked, and it goes like, "A sea roared inside her and made demands, but she waited it. She bobbed up, took a breath, and opened her eyes to the cold winter morning. Then she rose, because the day was there, the world was there, and she wanted to be a part of it." Now that is so beautiful. That's such a beautiful quote, and I also relate to it because, like, sometimes you're very down and you're like, what am I doing? And sometimes just wanting to be a part of the world, it saves you. It saves who you are. It brings you comfort. It brings you out of your shell. So I really love that quote as well. And there's another quote that I deem very beautiful and very, like, it's just so good. It's "I think she wanted nothing from me," Hector added. "Nothing at all but to let her love me." And I think I sobbed. This book made me cry. I was crying. I was like, I'm so emotionally destroyed by this book, and it's so good, and I just really loved it. So I would highly recommend to read this book. And thank you for watching, and thank you for being here. I know that my first two videos are not book related, but I just wanted to branch out into doing things that, like, a sort of documentation of my life with this channel. And so yeah, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.